This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
I am pleased to welcome back once again our good friend Charles McElwee. He is a member of the Board of Directors for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum. And today we're taking a look back at the Grand Theater.
The Grand Theater would be remembered by many. It was located on Broad Street between Church and Vine. Torn down in 1980, yet another casualty of another landmark that was lost during that time. But the Grand dated back to 1889. It was Hazleton's first vaudeville theater. So it was really a venue of entertainment before the existence of the talkies and subsequently motion pictures. So in 1889, it was not only a venue for performances as the Grand Opera House, but a major historical site. In 1898, William Jennings Bryan, who was this perpetual presidential candidate, really the original populist, he ran for president 3 times, and he ended up stopping in Hazleton and campaigning, got on his soapbox, and he chose the Grand Theater as his venue. But when we look at Courthouse Square in Scranton, we see this statue of Johnny Mitchell, the United Mine Workers president. The statue was actually built by a Hazletonian. John Sheridan designed. He was an architect in the city. But really that tribute, when we think about it, should be in Hazleton because it was in the Grand Theater in 1902 where the union met to decide whether to strike the anthracite miners, to strike against the coal operators. And that strike, with John Mitchell leading it, resulted in really one of the most consequential strikes in U.S. labor history, and the first time the federal government had to intervene as a neutral arbitrator to break it up. So it continued as a motion picture venue. It was the first theater to show talkies. By the 1950s, it was the first to adopt this technological advance called a panoramic screen. Really just a memorable venue for many in Hazleton that ended up operating until the 1970s. Unfortunately, toward the end, it had a darker chapter. It was showing adult films, but then it was closed. And in 1977 and then in 1980, it was raised.
Well, it was too bad we don't have these old theaters around us anymore. We still have what used to be the Hersker, I guess, in West Hazleton, the Cinnamon Draft House. Right,
and John Hersker, part of the Hersker family, actually at one point owned the Grand Theater as well as a family theater. So they had a number of theaters in Hazleton. And yes, it is very sad to see all these theaters gone. I mean, Hazleton at one point had between 7 and 8 theaters in the city. It was a major vaudeville venue. But when you see how other cities are embracing the adaptive reuse of theaters as venues for music, for concerts, or dining establishments, it's a shame that we don't have the Feely or Grand or Capitol Theater standing that could be used as part of revitalization efforts.
Absolutely. Those days are gone. But we bring them back to you each and every week right here on SSPTV News, so join Charles next week for another interesting topic to look back at our area's history.